Welcome to the ACW podcast. My name is Andy, and I'm the man behind the camera at ACW. And I'm here today with my guest, Rico Hendrix, the Chocolate Carolina Cowboy. Before we get into things, don't forget that you can get exclusive access to extended episodes of this podcast by subscribing on Patreon or through YouTube, joining our YouTube channel. We have lots of cool features on there, which include full versions of our shows, exclusive backstage segments, and, of course, extended versions of this podcast. So go check it out if you haven't subscribed. It's $5 a month on Patreon. Who doesn't want free, awesome content? Well, not free, awesome content. Yeah. It's awesome content. $5. That's not bad. So check it out. Join us, subscribe, support what we're doing. Thank you all of the existing subscribers that we have. It's because of people like you I can get to travel around and do these shows and to bring you content like this with these interviews. Also, ACW has a brand new merch shop. You can check that out on our YouTube channel and click on the link that says store. We've got T-shirts, hats, stickers, some cool stuff on there, so go check that out. And lastly, I just want to mention we've got some upcoming shows. We just did a show with MCW for Fan Jam. Rico, you weren't at that one, but I know you were at the last one. So those are always fun times. And we've got March 21st as the next ACW show. ACW is here to show the world. That's going to be at Breakaway 2 Sports Lounge in Hagerstown, Maryland. We've got Nick Nemeth coming in. He's going to be in a match with Ben Bishop, and you'll have a chance to do a meet and greet with him. You can go to acwtix.com for tickets there. You've got a match, which we just did a little bit of a promo for. Yeah. So talk a little bit about your match. What do you got going on at ACW here to show the world?
So my match is it's a tag team match between myself and Chris Slade. We'll be going against Riot City's Most Wanted. Riot City's Most Wanted is totally responsible for making sure. Listen, I was United States champion not too long ago. I don't have that anymore, and that's simply because of those people. So we got to take care of that. And Chris Slade had issues with them anyway. So I think this is just a time for us to come together and just beat these jokers up once and for all before I get my title back. Because that's like the focus right now.
Yep. Yeah, I think it's going to be a good match. You and Chris have a lot of history going against each other. I think this is the first time that you guys are tagging together, so that'll be pretty cool to see what you guys do as a team. And then after that, about a week later, on March 28th, ACW's got Queen of Maryland, which is a unique event. They did a show last year, the very first inaugural all-women's event under the Fire brand, Fire standing for Female In-Ring Entertainment. We've got our new Fire champion, Riley Crow. I know she'll be there in action, a bunch of other talented women. I wasn't at the last show last year. Were you at that one?
I wasn't at all.
No. I heard lots of good things. Fans seem to react really well to it. I know a lot of the guys on the roster were there and supported it and seemed like they really liked it. So if you guys want to check it out, it's at Reflections Hall in Baltimore, Maryland, again on Friday, March 28th. And you can also get tickets at acwtix.com for that. But cool, man. Let's get into it. Obviously, you're here looking dapper with the robe.
I'm relaxed.
Like Hugh Hefner over here. I like it.
Us Cowboys got to get to bed at good time, so I'm relaxed. This is my time.
There we go. All right, man. So talk to me a little bit about where you grew up, and I know you say you're from Carolina, but you're not from Carolina. So talk to me a little bit about where you actually grew up.
Where I actually go, well, I think I touched on it a little bit during our Annapolis show. I was actually born and raised I wasn't raised in Annapolis, but I was born there. Most of my life has been spent in like Glen Burnie, Pasadena-ish, Maryland. Carolina it's pretty much my second home. I go there just about every year or every other year at least. I'm probably going to go back this year. I'm just there a whole lot, mainly for the Panthers, even though a lot of abuse there, but I enjoy the city. It's great. Food's great. Scenery's great. Just have fun down there.
Panthers, they're breaking your heart every year, man.
They are, but I have a little bit of hope this year, just a little bit more. I think that last game against Atlanta was like, okay, I think I can feel all right now going into next season. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be a better year for you guys. But yeah, man. So I know you coach football. Did you ever play football like growing up?
I did, and I wasn't that good at it. No, but like growing up, as far as Pop Warner and stuff goes, I had a lot of fun with that. And then I played in high school. I played quarterback for some. Well, no, not for some reason. I was pretty solid at it actually. And then once that was over, I didn't want. It ended on a sour note for me. So I didn't want my last memory of being involved in football to be that. Plus, like one day, like when certain things hit you, it hits you. I was sitting at work one day, and all of a sudden, like coaching just kept replaying in my mind. I got to do this, got to do this. And then it was one of those things where I found the nearest organization, and we went from there. And turns out I'm way better at this than I was at playing. So cool.
I feel like that translates to a lot of people, and even in the NFL, there's like some players that weren't that amazing at playing, but they make really good coaches. So I think
Kellen Moore right now, even though I hope he fails because he's in New Orleans, but nice. Kellen Moore. I think who's the other guy? We just had one. Josh McCown was coaching for a little bit. So and then there was another one I'm forgetting right now. But I mean, a lot of people it translates over pretty well.
But cool, man. So other than football, I know you obviously you're a wrestler. What got you into wrestling? How did you discover like wrestling just growing up as a fan?
Yeah, it was growing up. How old was I? I mean, at first, like I was about 8 or 9 years old. It was when Jeff Hardy won the WWE Championship at Armageddon from Triple H and Triple H and Edge in that triple threat match. I'm sure everybody and their mother remembers it. And like just seeing the reaction that he got, I think that was like, for me, that was the biggest eye opener. I was like, man, I got to get a reaction like that someday. And that was what got me. And then when I got a little older, I actually found out it was like, oh, there's independent wrestling and all of this good stuff. Like it's actually doable.
Yeah.
So then I was just like, okay, well, maybe I want to do this character. Like I had a whole notebook, probably 3 or 4 of them, where I'd be like, just getting everything that I haven't done any of it. I'm just gonna be real with you. Everything I've done has been off the cuff now. Like this cowboy stuff wasn't even supposed to happen. But it's been that's been most of my journey though.
Okay. Yeah, and I'll be honest, you made me feel really old when you said that was when you discovered wrestling, because I was in like college by the time they did that.
But the following reaction on, I think it was obviously SmackDown, when he came out and had the whole celebration. Yeah. And we kind of got our feelings hurt when Matt Hardy hit him with the chair, and that should have never happened booking wise. But I ain't here to talk, but that shouldn't.
So growing up, it was Jeff Hardy. Was he like your favorite go-to guy, or were there other guys that really?
It was definitely Undertaker. That was my number one.
Okay.
Because I just liked. I'm not even gonna say the character because I was young, so I'm not sitting there thinking the character, all that stuff.
Right.
But I enjoyed just why it was different, and I just felt like he couldn't lose. So
yeah,
I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna root for the guy that rarely loses. I like him.
I mean, I think he's one of those characters that, obviously he's been around for years, and like even as when I was a kid, I remember him being like the gray gloves and then the purple gloves, original character that he was, and he used to terrify me as a kid. And I remember I was in like 4th grade. We went down. My dad took me to a house show down in like Landover, Maryland, and I had run down to the ring to like, get high fives from the guys like after their match. And then I was on my way back and I lost. I got lost. I was like a whole section over from where my dad was, and the Undertaker's music hit. And I freaked out. I was like, oh man, the lights are going to go out. I'm never going to find my dad. The Undertaker might get me. Yeah, man. He's a classic.
You remember those things called fatheads? Like the big stickers that you put on?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So for that was Christmas. So I got one of the Undertaker. And at first I'm like, this is cool. And then like I wake up in the middle of the night, and then like you just see the Undertaker staring at you, and I was like, "This isn't going to work." I got so freaked out. I eventually got used to it, but I'm like, I can't keep living like.
Yeah, no, dude, Undertaker is amazing. I think I grew up in a different generation, so for me, it was. I mean, on my all-time favorite is Edge. Always had, he was the first for me that like I think up until him, I always liked the baby faces, but he was the first, like with him and Christian, they were the first like heel tag team that I really got into, and like the first heel characters in general that I really like gravitated to, and they just stuck for me, and Edge is definitely one of my all time favorites for sure.
I don't even know what heel I started liking first. I actually hated the heels as a kid.
Yeah, oh yeah, I did too.
I couldn't tell you. I probably got to an age where it was like, oh God, I couldn't tell. Maybe it'll come back one day. But it was definitely, I was very baby face heavy. I actually felt bad for the heels. I was like, dude, I used to think that they would legitimately get upset that they were getting booed or something. I was like, they probably going back upset, and then like Randy Orton, he's just going back chilling. I'm like, that was pretty much the peak of when I was watching when Randy Orton was kicking people in the head.
So you said what age were you when you started like training to become wrestling, and who did you train with?
Training wise, I started shortly after my 19th birthday.
Okay.
And it was with the Pain Factory. That was when that was EWA. That's where I was before I got with you guys. So I started there. Honestly, it didn't even take long for me to get my first match. I mean, put myself over a little bit. I picked it up like that.
Okay.
So it was like 9 months in. They was like, hey, let's go for it. First match was in September of 2019. So I'm doing this a little bit now, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I trained. And then I was there until 2023 or 4. 2023, early 2023 at that.
Yeah.
And that's when I got with you guys.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was early because I came into ACW kind of late 2022. So I remember you coming in early 2023. I think I want to say it was like Westminster. We did like a show. I want to say at that
was the second show. So my first one was in Glen Burnie. That was April 30th, I want to say.
Okay.
And then I had the Westminster one.
Okay.
And then started rolling from there. So
yeah. Nice. What was it that got you connected to ACW? Did you know some of the guys or what?
I did. Bam's one of my closest real life friends. So at the time when I can tell the story, I don't care sometimes. So I was at EWA, Maryland politics and wrestling and all of that good stuff. So I was obviously already connected with Bam. We were talking it out, like, kind of trying to pull me over there a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, it was what it was. But in my head, I'm like, I'm gonna just chill out. But then I got in my head, I was like, I'm gonna just try and take advantage of the best of both worlds if I can.
Yeah.
And so my show with ACW, backtrack a little bit. So Bam came to us for a favor because I had to bring him in because somebody couldn't show up. I was like, Bam, look, we need a body. We got a 5-on-5 tag match. Just be here. You ain't got to do anything crazy. Boom, boom, boom. It was a little bit of a conflict, but I mean, we got over that. So he came, and then I talked with ACW people, and then it was like, okay, well, you can come here, blah, blah, do whatever. I'm like, cool, let's see if we can get the best of both worlds. And then that's when I wrestled my first show, and that was against Ellsworth. So that was a lot of fun. I thought everything was going well, and sure enough, Maryland politics kicked in, and then sure enough, let's just say I didn't leave voluntarily.
Okay.
And so my hand was a little bit forced, and then I ended up at ACW, and here we are. It was good. Yeah. And then again, after I wrestled Ellsworth, so I was still with both. So after that match, I think it was the Westminster one or the one after, where I was like, hey, listen, this was Ellsworth on the phone, like, listen, it's go time. I'm here now. You want to go forward with it. And that's what we did.
And but yeah, man, we've had a pretty cool, like, thinking back like 2024. I feel like we've had a really cool year and like stuff that we got to do with ACW. What, looking at 2024, what were some of the things that kind of stick out as your highlight reel?
Easy. It's the last what? It's September through the end. I won the United States Championship in my literal hometown. The hospital where I was born is literally so the Annapolis Boys and Girls Club and the hospital where I was born are less than 10 minutes apart. So it was kind of
Okay.
And then the week after, I was in Nashville, Tennessee, and I defended the United States Championship down there. I love Nashville. I've never like Charlotte's my number one, but Nashville was a very close too. I loved it down there. It was like I call them country honeys, and they were everywhere, everywhere. We got to go to Laney Wilson's bar, so that was awesome. I loved that. I defended my championship, won the match, and then I think the coolest part, which I still gotta get the film on that, but this was the first time where I did the yeehaw at the top rope, doing it before the elbow drop. And considering I was in Nashville, Tennessee, everybody just came up with me once I did it. Like the whole crowd was like, "Okay, cool, we got something." And there was that. What happened the week after that? The Vanilla Ice thing. That was the most fun night of my life. Well, one of the most fun. It started out. I won my 6-man match, whatever, and then lots of other stuff happened, and drinks were involved. And
I remember that. I remember that night for sure.
That's what I did anyway. It was so much fun. It was great.
Yeah. I was thinking back. So I know I want to say in April, one of the cool shows that we had was working at the UMBC Arena in Baltimore at the Taco Margarita Fest. And was it? I was trying to think. Was it? I can't remember if it was you or Vam that had the kid in the audience that tried to come fight you. Was that you?
That was me.
That was you.
When I was wrestling Chris Slade that day, we were doing my thing. I don't remember what she was saying to me. I don't know what happened. All I know is I turned my back and I'm getting ready to, start the match, whatever. And out the corner of my eye, I see this.
She booked it.
I was like, hey, yo. I'm like, don't let her get in this ring. Don't. That was hilarious to me.
I was gonna say she couldn't have been more than like 4 or 5, but she was ready. She was ready to fight you, dude.
4, so she's about 4 or 5, maybe 6.
Yeah. I think it was you got to work with Devon a little bit in the ring. You got the punch with the Hall of Fame ring. That's definitely got to be a highlight.
That's a highlight of my life. That was great.
Yeah.
I forgot that one though.
Yeah. How did that, like, what was the lead up to that? If you can talk a little bit about like what it was like working with him and backstage and all that a little bit too.
He was cool. It was really easy. Most people. One thing about me is I don't get intimidated.
Yeah.
So, like when he came in, like I was just talking to him like he was a normal person. He was a cool guy. He taught me some stuff after the match. Hey, do this. Working with him in general, I honestly didn't expect him to even get in the ring at first. That was my impression. Yeah. And then like once he got in and then we did everything we did, I'm like, this is awesome. I'm enjoying this. I think the cool part is when I was in his face, like, then he was like, Hall of Fame, bitch. That was one of the coolest things that's ever happened to me. He stomped me out in the corner, and then we got to the table.
Yeah, and that's always impressed me. Like, just because you would expect some of those guys to have huge egos, and I don't know that I ever met any that did. Like Kurt Angle, I think he was one of the coolest dudes that I got to meet. Yeah. Like I did like a little interview with him, and like didn't expect him to like open up a lot, and he like just opened up and shared like a little personal story with me, and I was like, that's freaking awesome.
My daughter was Kurt Angle and didn't even say hi. I'm like, all right, child, like you know who this is.
But yeah, man. So I know shortly after Tennessee, that was kind of maybe sparking a little bit of the cowboy gimmick, and I know I can remember when we came up with the chocolate cowboy gimmick, sitting backstage at the Vanilla Ice concert, which I think was one of the funniest conversations I've ever been a part of. Is just brainstorming that gimmick.
We started talking about Vanilla Ice. I was like, chocolate. I was just thinking chocolate for some reason. And then I was like, I'm going to be the chocolate cowboy. And then, hey.
Yeah, so I think that's worked out better than we expected for you.
Yeah, it wasn't supposed to work. It wasn't supposed to work.
And then, so around that time, I think right before that, you'd won the ACW championship because you were the champion at the time. You talked a little bit about it being in Annapolis. One of the highlights that I noticed for you after the match, some of your kids that you coach came down and were celebrating. What was it like for, like, have they talked to you about, like, what it was like for them to see you, like, win the championship?
Yeah, well, they were just excited. They ain't even there. Like, all they saw was Coach Mason just climbing a ladder, jumping. Like, they don't know Rico Hendrix. That's how they know me, Coach Mason. So that's all they saw was me going up the ladder and beating people up and stuff. And I bought the championship to practice the next day or the next Monday. It was pretty cool. I don't think any of them looked at me the same. So.
Yeah.
But they enjoyed it.
Well, so got a few final questions. What's the stuff that keeps you most motivated to keep wrestling? Do you have like a end goal in mind? Are you trying to get to like WWE, AEW, like anything like that? Or is it just the love of the game?
I'm going to take it as far as I can. That's been my answer every time. If it's WWE, then great. I've been hitting the gym a lot more, so hopefully when I come back, y'all know this. But I mean, I'm gonna take, if it's WWE, it's WWE. If it's Ring of Honor, if it's AEW, TNA, whatever, we're just gonna ride this thing till the wheels fall off. I'm just here to have fun with it. Because that's been my primary objective since I started. I just want to entertain people, and I've gotten way better at that. Even with ACW, like learning from Ellsworth, learning from guys that come in the locker room. When you have the Devon Dudleys come in, when you have the JBLs come in, when you have Kurt Angle come in and people actually like pouring into you, you just learn more and more and more. It's like Al Snow, he talked to me for a good 10 minutes. Yeah. So you just learn as you go. And I've gotten better. So it's all worked out. So, yeah, that's the objective. We're just going to take it as far as we can.
Who is on your Mount Rushmore wrestling?
My top 4? Oh, God. Give me a second.
There's so many options. I think it's hard for me when I think about it. It's hard for me to stick to 4.
Yeah, it really is. I always put Triple H on mine because I need a job. So we're going to put him up there. The Undertaker, definitely. And then, like, Shawn Michaels. Then that last, you either got to split between Orton or Edge, whichever one you want to go with that day. I think Orton just for longevity's sake. Okay. Because, I mean, Edge, you kind of, and right now I'm going to be honest, he's a pro, he's a legend, all that stuff, but he kind of, this ain't it. This ain't it right now. So I think Orton's going to take that last one.
Gotcha. All right, man. And then before we get going, where can fans find you on social media?
All of my social medias are the same, at Rico Hendrix Pro. TikTok, Instagram. I don't have Twitter anymore. I deleted it. So Instagram, TikTok. Oh, wait, no, Facebook's just Rico Hendrix. And that's really it. That's all the other stuff got now.
Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you making time to come on and chat a little bit, and look forward to what we got coming up in a month, I guess, at the next show. I feel like it's been forever since we've seen everybody, so. Yeah, I know it's been crazy. So let's go ahead and whoop these Riot City boys. That's all I got. All right, man. I'll catch you later. All right. Adrenaline rush now. Adrenaline rush now. Adrenaline rush now.